We're live. Welcome to Talkin VAWLS, episode number 82, BasketVAWLS edition. We're brought to you by the Outright Geekery Podcast Network at outrightgeekery.com. We're also currently live on the YouTube, courtesy of the S&B Network. Make sure you go ahead and smash that like button, share out the link. My name is VAWLS JP.
And I'm Dobber. What's happening?
What's going on, buddy? We may be the only two here tonight. If anybody watched that, if you would call that a attempt at playing a SEC basketball game, just pitiful. I mean, that's all I can say. I was really disappointed in just the overall lack of energy, emotion. There just wasn't much there. I don't know.
Yeah, man, I had said at the beginning of the year I think this team is going to struggle on the road, and man, that wasn't even a struggle. That was just
Total
like you said.
beatdown.
Yeah, they got ran out of the gym, which, if I recall, that's exactly what happened 2 years ago when we went down there to Athens and played. Had a big chunk of the pretty successful team from last year, and some other guys, and man, they just lit it up. I think it was similar sort of deal. They had one kid who went off, and we just couldn't guard him. Didn't act like we wanted to guard him. Um,
Well, I mean, it was obvious by watching that game tonight. We have nobody athletically able to guard that Edwards kid. I mean, they're just winning. Of course, I mean, he was absolutely just shooting lights out in the first half. I mean, everything that he was throwing up, and really everything Georgia was throwing up, but just the lack of effort. I mean, it was just very, very disappointing. I mean, how many, fast break run out points did Georgia have in that first half? I mean, we would turn the ball over and we wouldn't get back on defense. Team was just very, 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 very sluggish. What's up, B. Adams?
yeah, and I mean, Bowden is just continuing to struggle. I
they said something about
figure that out.
Yeah, me either. And it's absolutely killing this basketball team. I heard the announcer say something about that he was battling the flu, but I mean that's no excuse. That's no excuse whatsoever.
I got some solidarity for him right there. I'm grinding through the flu right now.
Yeah, I know it. Yeah, and Dobber got the flu. That's no good, buddy. It's no good. We got Fromm's middle finger. Huh. Must be a Georgia fan, I bet.
That's Alan V's incognito mode.
Oh, this is Al. What's up, Alan V? We thought you might show up since it was in Bulldogs, and you guys beat us down like a I don't know. It's bad. It's a bad beatdown.
Yeah,
it's bad. Georgia got some talent. I mean, I knew that they had the Edwards kid, but I didn't realize that they had all those other freshmen that were highly touted. Just the I guess what really showed up to me was the athleticism difference. I mean, it was just really, really strange. I mean, it was bad. I mean, could Tennessee play better? Yes, but I'm not even sure if Tennessee plays their best game that they could beat Georgia.
I was hoping for a big lift with Uros. Uros. We'll just go with that. Getting cleared and coming out. Expect maybe a little bit of nerves from him, but man, he came down with some rebounds and had them stripped right out of his hand. Short on a lot of his hook shots. I mean, he's been with the team, been practicing, was cleared to travel in December. So it's a little bit different than Vescovi, who, just joined the team and was playing, a week after meeting these guys. Kind of expected there to be a little bit more cohesion and gel with that, and expected it to be a big lift. a little bit more length and size, an actual post player, but we still did not run anything through the paint, really, settling for forced bad jump shots rather than running an offense. I've said it and I've said it and I've said it. If this team isn't hitting shots, they are going to struggle.
Well, they don't hit shots. We haven't hit shots all year. And basically, when I watch Tennessee basketball, our offense consists of about 3 passes along the perimeter. If we don't turn it over, which we happen to do a lot, then it's jack up a 3. I mean, that is basically the extent of Tennessee's offense at this point in time. And now the defense is not showing up. I mean, that's what got us 2 weeks ago against LSU, and then tonight was just horrible defense. I mean, it was just absolutely horrible defense. This team was not prepared. They didn't come to play. They nowhere matched anywhere near the intensity that Georgia showed, and this team continues to go through lulls in a game where, I mean, I don't know how many times tonight. I bet probably 2 or 3 times that there's probably 4 to 5 minutes or longer in a game that they don't even score a point.
I mean,
we was stuck on 40 points. What seemed like half the first or half the second half.
Well, at one point, Georgia went on a 39-16 run.
Yeah.
In the second half.
Yeah, just I don't know.
you were talking about defense there a little bit ago. Let's backtrack and talk about the positive South Carolina win we picked up over the weekend. You actually went down for that game, right?
Yes, South Carolina.
Yeah. So, another really poor shooting performance, but that's a type of game where I expect Tennessee to win because they did play kind of tough defense. An ugly game, comes down to a last second play where the Gamecocks actually had a chance to put up a shot that could have won it, and Fulke steps in and takes a charge.
Yeah, and I mean that's one of those plays right there. Anybody that watches basketball knows that it can go either way. So
absolutely,
very, very fortunate there. But we gave the opportunities. We kept just letting South Carolina get an opportunity there in those games, and even I guess it was last Tuesday night when we went down to Missouri and beat them. I mean, there the last minute and a half, Tennessee had chances to put the game away, and we keep turning the basketball over. Just a sloppy team.
Yeah, let me throw this out at you. In that win, we shot 26% from the floor, 19% from 3-point.
Yeah.
I mean that
it's
is
hard to believe that they even won that game.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's hard to believe that they could even win that basketball game, and then Saturday, yeah. So I guess that's what's disappointing for the game tonight. Felt like that Tennessee, looking at that schedule, that they had an opportunity, but Georgia. I mean, what can you say? I mean, they got some talent. They came out and just absolutely just pushed it down the Vols' throats. I mean, there's nothing you can say.
Yeah,
it's going to make any difference about that.
The defense coming off the South Carolina game, where that's actually the 7th game that they've held the opponent under 60 points, and that's what this team does. They're not athletic, they're not long. They rely on kind of a perimeter shooting game and that scrappy defense. I think I read today Pons has a block in every game, something like 15 straight.
Mm-hmm.
and I think he got one tonight there towards the end. So the longest streak since Kyle Alexander last year or the year before. But that they've played good defense, but like you said, with the offense tonight and seemingly all year, the defense goes in spurts too. We gave Georgia that big run in the second half that I mentioned earlier, 39-16. You're not going to be successful, especially in the SEC, when you're digging a hole that deep and constantly down by 12, 15, 20 points. I mean, you can't stack that many stops in a row, and then you're battling the clock, and then when you're shooting poorly.
Well, because even when Georgia cooled off there in the second half, I mean, they actually extended the lead because Tennessee still could not do anything at all, and I guess what's frustrating me is we don't even look to even get the ball inside.
Right?
I mean, and I know Fulkerson is not, he's not the biggest kid as far as bulk, and maybe that's part of it. Maybe he's not getting position to get the ball or whatever. But I think the biggest thing that I can see with this Tennessee basketball team is there is no leader on this basketball team right now. And obviously Turner was, and you would have thought and expected Bowden to pick up the slack there. Obviously that's not happened. Bowden's gotten worse for whatever reason. But this team needs somebody that's going to step up and is going to take charge and is going to demand that they have the basketball.
And you've seen
James.
Well, that's what I was going to say. You've seen him. I mean, he really should be the guy with Bowden struggling. James should be the guy stepping up and being that offensive threat. But I think his kind of style, in terms of even leadership, is also kind of the way he runs through the offense. He defers. He's looking for a shot for somebody else before his shot.
Well, and that seems to be pretty much all of this team. I mean, there were several times tonight that there was somebody right there at the top of the key, or even like going to be driving in the lane, and they won't finish the play, and they'll try to pass it off. There's just nobody that's just willing to just step up, in my opinion, and just say, okay, I'm going to take this shot. I'm going to be the one that is going to try to lead this team. And I mean, it's been a weird basketball season. With getting Vescovi there 2 weeks ago, and now Uris Plasvich getting eligible right here in the middle of the season. So it's very odd, obviously, for two contributors like that to just come in halfway through the season. And I understand that Vescovi hasn't been there, but 2 or 3 weeks now. I mean, I understand that. And of course, Euros, this was his first real live action. So,
but he's been with the team.
He has been, yeah.
I mean, he's been practicing. It shouldn't.
Hopefully those jump hooks that he airballed about 3 of them tonight. Hopefully that as he gets more playing action, that he'll get more touch on that. And that some of those will start going in, because certainly with his size, I mean, that's got to help us as far as rebounds go. I mean, I think tonight, rebound wise, I think Georgia ended up out rebounding us by 1, is what it shows. If there is a positive tonight, we only had 10 turnovers, so that's certainly cut down. I think we had 21 against Missouri last week.
Yeah.
So with
had
all that,
19 against South Carolina, so I think our average is right around 20. I mean, that's what you just put up on the screen there, Alpha Man 06. That last statement there. We don't have the man-to-man defensive talent.
We don't.
You saw that tonight with Edwards just kind of taking over the game, and I think that's really where Turner is missed. Kind of that guy that can lock down, a scoring threat for the other team and guard them, man to man, and kind of take them out of the game. Like the announcers were talking, Georgia last week played Auburn, and the game
Auburn kind of done the same thing
was very similar to what Georgia did to Tennessee tonight. I mean, they locked Edwards down, and he didn't have a game at all. I mean, and that's we're just not having anybody with that kind of mentality on offense or defense that's going to lock somebody down or take a game over and drop 20 consistently. It's man.
I was surprised to see that Bowden actually led the team in scoring tonight. He had 12.
Yeah, but
I was surprised to see that. Of course, I think most of it was in mop up duty. When the game was over.
Yeah, but
the last 5 or 6 minutes.
When your leading scorer has 12 points.
Well, yeah.
I mean, what is this? A city rec game?
Yeah, I mean, certainly, but I mean that's more than he has been doing.
Edwards had 20 before the half.
I know. No, I know. I sat there and watched it, and I was like, "You got to be kidding me." You got to be kidding me.
And the announcers were all up on him, and rightfully so, because
yeah.
He was doing it every way possible. I mean,
that dunk that he pulled off, I mean, we didn't have anybody that could even attempt to even stop him.
Yeah.
I mean, he just took it right to the basket and just absolutely flushed it, and our guys are just standing there. But yeah, that was some of the worst defense on a Barnes coach team, certainly. And yes, I mean, I know that we've been spoiled the last couple of years with talent that Tennessee's had and the way that they played. But I guess to me, that's the biggest disappointment there, is just the again, just overall lack of hustle and the effort or the lack thereof on the defensive side tonight.
Right.
I mean, at some point in time, you think that this basketball team is going to start hitting shots more consistently. I mean, I know that we keep saying that every single week, but you would think at some point in time that some of these shots are going to start falling for Bowden and Pons and even Scobie struggled tonight. I think he had one three. I think I don't even know how many points he had. 7. He had 7. Yeah.
Which I think that's his first game not in double digits.
Yeah. With that, so and the turnovers, like I said, that those were obviously cut down, but we've got to figure out a way. We got to figure somebody that can carry this basketball team. And I guess the good thing about it, I actually turned that game off and started watching the Kentucky-South Carolina game. But South Carolina beats Kentucky tonight. So if you look at the SEC, I mean, I know Auburn's undefeated right now, but I seriously doubt that they're going to go through league play like that. But there's the SEC and college basketball in general this year seems to be pretty much wide open.
Yeah.
And I think, you see Duke getting beat, you see North Carolina, Kansas, Virginia's been beat several times this year, Michigan State, so Louisville.
There are only 2 unbeatens right now, LSU and somebody else.
LSU's not unbeaten. You're talking about Auburn?
Yeah, Auburn. Sorry.
Yeah.
That a little bit of.
I don't even know who the other one might be, but with that, that's the thing. If this basketball team can find a way to get to I don't see how this team gets to 20 wins, though. I don't. And I said it last week. I think 16 wins is probably the max. I mean, we're at 10 right now. I just don't know how that this basketball team gets to 16 wins, or 20. I just don't think that there's any way. And to me, we're going to have to get to 20 before there's any kind of shot at the tournament.
That'd be let's see, 1, 2, 3.
We should have 15 games left, I think. So we're going to have to go like 10-5. I just don't see that happening.
Yeah, 15 left. You've got 2 against Auburn.
Mm-hmm. Two against Kentucky.
2 against Kentucky.
Yeah.
You got Florida in there as well.
Yeah. Arkansas.
And then you've got Arkansas, South Carolina, Alabama, Mississippi State on the road, as well as a matchup against number 6 Kansas on the road.
Yeah. So, I mean, chances are that that's probably going to be a beat down as well. So, I just don't see any way that this team makes it to the tournament. And I think maybe it was Alpha Man that put it up there earlier. I put it on there. This really is showing. Let me see if I can find that, talking about the bad recruiting that happened when in between Barnes getting Schofield. Well, Schofield was actually already there, but getting Grant Williams, Bone. That was in between that, and this basketball team just doesn't have much talent. I mean, there's some younger kids there, but I know that there was a lot of people saying that Kamwa kid was reminding them of Grant Williams, but I watched Grant Williams his freshman year, and this kid's nowhere near what Grant Williams was. So not to say that he can't continue to develop, but one of the biggest things is the lack of inside presence when you look at what Barnes has recruited. I mean, I know that we had Burns who ended up leaving, but we just don't have anybody inside. We don't even look inside. So it's just frustrating for sure. We got a couple more folks in here. We got Randy Wilson, and we got Scenic in here. What's up, Scenic? Appreciate you tuning back in. I don't know how long that we'll actually go tonight. Dobber's got the flu, so that's not good. And I guess anybody that's a Tennessee fan that actually took the time to tune in tonight after that beatdown is a true fan.
Yeah, and they're probably not feeling too good either.
No, I know I'm not, and I don't have the flu, thankfully. So with that, but it's I don't know. I mean, we'll just have to see. We'll just have to see how the season plays out. Like I said last week, in my opinion, best thing that we can hope for is these kids continue to develop, they continue to grow, and they can find a way to win some basketball games.
But on a positive, though, at any time tonight, there were between 2 and 4 freshmen on the floor. So that is something kind of positive to look at. You got some guys playing, quality minutes in. I'm going to say every game right now for this team is meaningful because, they've realistically got to win, probably 10 more. And it's just good experience to get conference games under belt for these young guys. We've got a great class coming in. And I think that's just going to, be the fact that all these other young guys are getting playing time right now will only aid in the fact that there is some really elite talent coming in. I think I actually saw all three of the guys coming in. The two 5 stars and the 4-star. I think were all selected as McDonald's All-Americans. I think I read that.
Yeah, and what Kenny Ashby's got there, talking about Barnes should have been worried about getting players instead of how much money he was going to get from which school, and excuse me. Honestly, to me, that's probably the only thing that's saving him from a lot more criticism right now is the fact of the recruiting class that he does have coming in next year. I think that if we were, fringe struggling on recruiting, and he was still getting some of these, project type players, certainly I think that he would be getting a lot more heat about this year. I'm willing to give him a pass. I mean, obviously,
well, yeah,
we're not happy about this, but this is a transition year, and I think that the future is bright. So,
I think all that talk, need to pump the brakes on that because realistically, there's two guys playing at the next level that could still be on this team.
And
one in a 2-time defending conference player of the year.
Yeah, and I mean, we have to face it that this Tennessee basketball team or this program is not on a Duke, Kentucky,
no.
Kansas level where basically they just reload every single year.
Well, it's frankly, I was shocked at what he's brought in for next year.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's just obviously
Tennessee basketball. Talking about this year having Josiah James, the highest recruit since Tobias Harris.
Mm-hmm.
That's every 5-6 years we get somebody like that, and we've landed a class in next season that has three of those elite level guys. It's exciting. And I was actually going to talk about something the announcers tonight alluded to, the fact that Barnes came in at a time when Tennessee as a football school was down, and he brought basketball up to a level that we've kind of been around there, had a couple seasons, when Pearl was at Tennessee. We've made a couple runs, had some excitement, but when football was at its lowest, Barnes had basketball surging and something that the fans could look forward to and hang their hat on.
Oh yeah, I mean, it was this time last year.
Yeah.
That everybody was like, we're a basketball school. Who cares about football? Which I know that's in jest, but yeah, I mean, this time yet last year, this basketball team was absolutely rolling, and everybody was thinking that this team was going to contend for the national championship, and I mean, it was still a wonderful year, but you're right. I mean, Barnes brought this program up during a time when Tennessee fans didn't have a whole lot to cheer about as far as sports teams go, for sure. Yeah. With that, so Scenic was asking. He said he only watched the first half. Well, the second half wasn't much better. Scenic. Georgia cooled down just a little bit, but Tennessee got even colder. So just wasn't a very competitive basketball game at all, from pretty much start to finish. Nothing that you can really say about it. Just frustrating.
Just the
disappointed.
We kind of cleaned up the turnovers, but man, just the shooting woes continue. Can't find an offense, can't buy a bucket, and tonight the defense was right there with the offense. Just let everybody down.
Yep. It was absolutely horrible. What we got coming up? We got Vanderbilt Saturday.
Ole Miss, I think.
Yeah.
Vandy,
We
Ole
got
Miss.
Vandy at Vanderbilt Saturday. I don't care how bad Vanderbilt is. That's always a tough game for Tennessee. When
Yeah.
they go down there and play in Memorial Coliseum, that is always, or Memorial Gym, that's always a tough game. It don't matter who Vanderbilt has on the team. It don't matter who Tennessee has on the team. So, even though Vanderbilt's a bad basketball team, um, this team cannot overlook anybody for sure. So we'll be interested to see. I think that game's at 6 o'clock. And then I think next Tuesday night, they come back home and they play Ole Miss, 9 o'clock tip next Tuesday. So we're 2-2 in conference play. If we could steal one on the road next or a Saturday at Vandy, and then if we could come back and bounce back against Ole Miss, which should be a winnable game at home, you'd be 4-2 with first 6 conference games. So I'm not giving up hope yet, but as I continue to watch this basketball team struggle and the way that they struggle shooting the ball, I'm losing hope more and more each game. But with that, we'll see. I mean, that's all that you can do is let the season play out.
Angie brings up a point there. No one on Twitter knows that we're on live because we didn't. The link didn't post to.
Oh, sorry about that.
So
Ian.
we'll get with our programming director Boogie and make sure that we're doing everything right, and we'll try to do that. But in the meantime, you guys can tweet out that we're live or message out. We'll yeah. I'm under the weather right now. I've laid on the couch all day long, apart from going to Walgreens to pick up my medicine. So, but yeah, I slacked and didn't post anything on Facebook or Twitter today about it. But we'll see. Usually the
Maybe I
StreamYard.
was disappointed in the basketball game.
I don't know. Well, the StreamYard doesn't it update or something? I don't know. That's above and beyond me. So
yeah. That's above my pay grade. Boogie's the producer of this network.
yeah,
I don't know where he's been. He never even replied back to anything today.
I know.
Who knows where he's at? But sorry about that, Angie. We will certainly get that out next week. Make sure that we share out the link before we go live, and we'll do better with it. We promise we will. But appreciate you bringing that to our attention. Dobber, have you got anything else tonight, buddy?
No. I mean, there's not much else you can say about this basketball team. I mean,
I'll be interested to hear what Barnes had to say after the game.
Yeah. And that's like I said. I talked about in the preseason show. This team, and I think I had them at 20 wins, but that was including losing every game on the road in conference, as well as a couple of out of conference games. But man,
we get to 20 wins, and I don't know. I'll sing Rocky Top again.
We get to 20 wins. Barnes needs another extension
razor. Yeah, I don't know, something for sure, because
I do not see it happening. 15, 16, I think they could do that. You're really that's still I don't think gonna even come close to making the tournament. What was it a couple years ago? Was it Alabama that didn't get into the tournament with 19 wins or something?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's just it's going to be tough. Not saying they can't do it. They could have a heart to heart on the flight back to Knoxville tonight, and Bowden could come out of his funk and start dropping 25, and Vescovi dishing out 16 assists tonight, and I mean, I'll believe it when I see it. It's nice to talk about, though. Yeah,
I'm gonna say, I think that flu has got you like all wigged out, man.
I've still got to take medicine before bed. But
Bobby
yeah,
Taco, you are correct. Bowden
yeah,
looks terrible. I mean, he airballed like a 10-footer there tonight.
yeah.
I mean,
Well,
literally.
and then that one, I think it was he'd stepped in just inside the 3-point line,
Yeah.
missed it, followed his shot, got the rebound, slashed through, and doinked a layup.
Layup, yeah, yeah. There was probably six or seven layups tonight that we just flat out missed.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's frustrating. It's frustrating to watch for sure, but it is what it is. It is a transition year, and we just hope that these kids continue to get better and play. I just want to see them play hard.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really what any fan can really hope for is if they give the effort. Tonight, I didn't feel like that there was effort there. I didn't feel like Georgia was getting all the loose balls. They were getting the rebounds. They were putting it back up, and Tennessee wasn't getting back on defense. It was just overall bad performance. Makes you wonder if maybe some of our kids weren't sick too. Who knows?
Well, and that's
I don't make any excuses, but makes you wonder.
On a team like this, the South Carolina game shows you how playing good, hard, scrappy defense, the offense feeds off of that. And tonight, for a team that is struggling offensively to lay a turd like they did defensively, that doesn't get anything going on the other end.
Yeah.
And it's just when like you said, not getting back in transition off of a missed shot, giving up layups. It's just when you're struggling to put points on the board, you've got to play hard at the other end, because that's where you're gonna either win or lose the game.
Yeah, but that's a good thing about basketball. It's not a one-game season, and there's always opportunity within a couple of days. So Vols will hit the court back Saturday night, Memorial Gym in Nashville, Tennessee, against the Vanderbilt Commodores, and we'll see if the Vols can bounce back and improve to 3-2 in conference play. That's going to do it tonight, fellas and ladies. We appreciate every one of you for tuning in tonight, listening to Dobber and Vols JP talk about the beatdown that happened inside Stegeman Coliseum at Georgia as Tennessee falls big time to the Georgia Bulldogs tonight. So we'll be back next week, probably either Tuesday or Wednesday, probably Wednesday night next week with the
late game Tuesday.
Yeah. With the late game Tuesday night. Dobber and myself will be back here next Wednesday night, probably 7 or 8. We'll get it set up, and Angie, I'll be sure to share the link out before we go live. And that's going to do it. We appreciate everybody, and until next time, we'll see everybody later, and go Vols.